and you're tired of having conversations and just having awkward silences, or you're tired of feeling like the awkward one in the group. So if that is you, I've been there, I'm going through it, and this video is for you. And the first one I'll say is understanding yourself. So I think a lot of us, sometimes we go into situations or social environments and we kind of have like a shield or a mask, or people can see us to a certain extent, but they can't see like who we truly are. And I think understanding who you are as a person before you even step into those environments is really going to help you know how to navigate or show up as your authentic self in situations or in social settings. So in understanding yourself is about knowing what your interests are. It's about knowing what your hobbies are. It's about knowing what you love. It's about knowing what you can't stand, what you can and don't want to tolerate in social settings, but also just having an understanding of who you are as an individual. And I know there's been that whole trend of like solo dating or taking yourself on dates, of romanticizing your life and taking yourself on dates in that way, to kind of understand yourself more. So granted, if you want to go do that, then granted, go ahead and do that. I think for me, what has helped personally is journaling. And as much as I'm at that point now where I have to force myself to sit down and journal and write things down, it's definitely a way to help you introspect and understand yourself. You can even use like journal prompts that you can find on Pinterest, that you can find in books, that you can use to kind of help you navigate like the journaling world, or help you to write or answer or discover yourself through answering those questions, so that when you show up in social environments or social settings, you can be your authentic self because you know who you are. The second thing I'll say is understanding other people. And I know for me, and I don't know if this is coming from a house of psychologists, but for me, understanding other people is really critical in like observing group dynamics or observing dynamics in a room, and knowing how to approach people, like not to offend certain people, or knowing like what to say to certain individuals, or just having the capacity to network or to connect with people regardless of like where they're from, who they are, like the different things that make people tick. For me, like looking at personality types has helped, and I think like the people that I know are tired of me talking about personality types, but I think it's a great way to understand who you are, so you can even look at that in the first step, but also understand like other people. So one of my go-to's, and I think it's become like this weird thing where I'll ask people like, oh, what is your personality type? And it's not a case where I'll go away and I'll be searching up an individual. Rarely it's a case where I'll do that, but at least it gives me an understanding of how or who this person is, and what kind of makes them tick, so I know how to approach them. Or it even helps you in knowing how to speak to someone, and if they say something in a certain way, you know not to take it personally because that's just who they are, or that's how they express themselves. So definitely it's a way to help you understand other people as well. The third thing I'll say is read about it, get knowledge on it, look at books, and there's so many podcasts, so many resources, like I probably said in my last video, that you can go to in terms of understanding how to communicate better, or understanding how to navigate social situations or settings better, or how to even like make friends and communicate. So that's definitely something that you can check out, whether you are an audible girl or a script person, and whatever it is that is your go-to in terms of listening or reading books, find something that can help you improve your communication skills, because I'd like to think like communication is like currency. It's going to help you navigate the world, whether it's in relationships like platonic or otherwise, whether you're in the workplace, whether it's with friends or family. Like communication is so important. So understanding how to manage your social anxiety or your social awkwardness and overcome it to the extent where you can have effective communication and conversations is so important if you want to, I guess, earn social currency or navigate in a world that is so big on communication. So I read this book, I think it's called How to Talk to Anyone About Anything, and it shared a key tip in terms of just so you have your interests, you have your hobbies, you understand yourself, but then sometimes grabbing like a random article or looking into a random topic that isn't really your interest, but it's just something that's like good to know, and then doing that can help you in social environments where maybe you're not comfortable. So maybe it's a work environment, they don't say share your interest, but they're speaking about something, maybe it's like politics, something that happened on the news, and because you're well read, because you've delved into that topic, even if it's like one article that you read, there's a comment that you can share, or there's something that you can add, so you don't feel like that person that's just stuck in a corner, feeling silent, feeling embarrassed, feeling like you don't know what to say, or feeling like the floor of the rug has been swept from under your feet when you're asked the question and you don't know how to navigate it. Next tip is do a mood check before you leave the house. So I read this book and it was saying like, oh, before you leave the house, make sure you're in a good mood. And I realized, so I didn't really implement it per se until something happened and I was just walking home and feeling really, really happy. And for some reason, that day when I was walking home, it's like everyone was smiling at me, everyone was saying hi. And I was like, what's going on here? And I realized it was because I must have been in a really good mood. So I must have been smiling at everyone. And that was causing people to like smile back as well. So having a good like demeanor or feeling like you're in a good place before you leave the house. So doing something that you enjoy before you leave the house for work or before you go meet friends. So whatever that is, cooking, dancing, singing at the top of your voice with the music on in the background, it doesn't matter. Just find something that is going to help you lift up your spirits before you go out, so you're leaving the house feeling confident, and that way you can show up as your best self and you don't feel as intimidated when you walk in a room. I'll say one of the biggest tips that I can share is don't be stuck at home. I know there are instances where I have been out and I'm thinking I wish I stayed home, but alternatively there's friendships or things that I've built and that wouldn't be the case if I didn't take the chance and go out and meet people as well. And the more you go out, the more you meet people, the more you interact, is the more natural it will become. Fake confidence. Like if you don't feel confident, you can fake it. So like I said, make sure that you feel like you're in a good mood or you lift up your spirits as much as possible before you leave the house, and then fake confidence. And I think something I've realized, I do it in meetings sometimes, I'll speak up first initially, and then after that point I don't really feel the pressure to speak up after that point, because it's like I've already said my piece, or I speak up first off and then I don't feel that hesitant about speaking up again because I've like bitten the bullet, I've done it. What's the worst that can happen? So I'd say the same thing, like if you're in a social setting or social environment, fake the confidence. If it is awkward, then that's okay, you can push through it. Like most people typically aren't going to look at you and say, oh, you're so awkward. So take the chance, be confident, fake it if you need to, until it becomes the norm for you. This is something that I'm working on, is practice making eye contact. So I think in communication, a big part of communication is body language. Like your body language speaks. I know that if I'm in a situation or a social environment and I feel awkward, I probably look awkward. And I don't want to say that to say, oh, stay home if you're gonna feel awkward, because then you're gonna look awkward. But I'm saying it to say that, one, if you can fake your confidence, then fake it. But also making eye contact goes a long way and it speaks volumes. Like the most confident people will look you in your eye when they're speaking to you. Social media tips, they always say if you're speaking to the camera, look directly at the camera. And it's the same thing for people. If you want people to see you as authentic, as trustworthy, as confident, then look them in the eye as much as possible. I know it takes practice. So I'd say if you need to practice with the strangers when you're going to work or when you're walking on the roadside, and then slowly build up for that. So that is it for the tips in this video. If you did enjoy this, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, and comment if you struggle with social awkwardness as well. I'm sure I can't be the only one. Make sure you check out this video as well, where I talk about how you can build your confidence on camera. I'll see you over there. Bye guys.